ain't America though, Larry.
Listen to this, Sonetta. Sonetta. Not only is this America, right? But the political propaganda that goes forward out of this country has the people in Mexico thinking that this is America, even though part of the land.
You keep using the word propaganda.
Yeah,
that means that you are going along with the white man's made up story.
That's not what it means. What it means is that I'm aware that the white man's telling stories. That I'm aware.
So
that
you're going for it, though.
No, if you want us to believe that.
Sonetta, let me help you understand here, right?
With that bullshit.
If I tell you that something is propaganda, first of all, that's supposed to alert you to the fact that I'm calling into question this information because this information is being disseminated by the authorities and therefore it should be subject to the utmost scrutiny because they have an agenda for disseminating that information. That's what propaganda is. It is officially disseminated information designed to promote a particular cause. In the instance of a government, the government is trying to promote itself as the legitimate authority, that its way is the way, that the American way. This is why you have Superman. This is why you have superheroes with red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
you understand? This is propaganda.
Hold on a second. A couple of things you said. The reason America built the fence to separate Mexico from the United States.
That's a scheme.
Is because, no, it's not a scheme.
Oh,
hold on a second. It's the same way that people who own a house build a fence to separate their yard from another person's yard. Hold on a second. The government of the United States of America bought California from somebody, from Mexico. They bought New Mexico. They bought this land.
No, they didn't.
They bought Louisiana.
No, they didn't.
They
bought that, but they didn't buy.
Well, hold on, check this out. Hold on a second. However they got it, they claimed it. They roughed it off, whatever they did.
Yeah.
Alright, so fine. So now they said, this is mine, that's yours, and I'm separating it. Not to separate it on the basis of no America and Mexico. They separated on, this is my shit here, and that's your shit there, and I'm separating it. And I'm calling my shit the United States. You call your shit whatever you want to, Spain, but I'm calling my shit the United States, and I'm separating it.
Brother,
that's why you build the fence.
Brother, I'm going to interrupt you for one second.
Hold on a second.
I'm going to interrupt you for one second.
Why? Why ain't gonna be no second?
I'm going to interrupt you for a second and point out to you that in the case of the territories in the South and the Southwest that used to be Mexico, right? Some of them they fought a war.
However they got it. I said however they got it.
Some of them,
come on,
some of them when it was, some of them.
Don't take me through that. I said however they got it.
Some of them, some of them when it was Mexico had crackers, Europeans living in there that had slaves. When Mexico got its independence, they abolished slavery.
Got their independence from who?
From Spain.
Okay. So what does that got to do with the United States?
When Mexico got its independence, they abolished slavery. So what happened was the crackers there, they wasn't about to abolish slavery, so they revolted. And they took territories like Texas.
That's what did I just say however they got it?
Now, Texas, at first it was its own country. It wasn't a part of Mexico, and it wasn't part of the United States. It was the country of Texas. They later joined the United States, and when they joined the United States, they became American. This is political ideology. Political ideology is different from geographical a geographical designation. They are politically.
So now let me ask you a question then, Larry. When someone says, what is your nationality? Which was the gist of what Sonetta was asking, right? Do you give him what your nationality is politically or actually? Huh? Since you're talking,
I want him to answer that. I want him to answer that.
That's a good question.
Propaganda.
That's a good question. That's an excellent question. Let me shake your hand for answering that question on camera. Let me shake your hand for answering. Let me shake your hand for Negro. Let me shake your hand for answering that question.
I'm a Negro now.
No, now you see.
Negro. Well, he was just acting like one. I didn't say no.
said Negro.
Same shit.
No, because at this point he don't want to shake my hand.
No
he needs to grow. Now, here's what I'm saying.
This is that.
Sonetta, this is how I answer that question, Sonetta. My ancestors were kidnapped and stolen. I don't have a nationality. That's how I answer that question. Nationality means nation of origin. How the hell do I know my nation? I agree with you on this one, my nation of origin? How do I know what part of Africa they stole my ancestors from?
Well, what
do you know? I had a conversation with a brother. I had a conversation.
That's how you feel.
I had a conversation with a brother from Nigeria, right? And the brother from Nigeria was insisting to me that there are different kind of black people on the continent of Africa. And I was insisting to this brother that that's how Europeans think, right? And that for adopting that mindset that he's kind of thinking like a European. When you see black people and you think that a black person is different because they have a different culture or speak a different language, that you're actually, you know, thinking with a European mind. All you see is Africa.
No, but they felt that way before the Europeans.
Time out. Let me say what I'm saying. I'm trying to make a point. So now the brother turned to me, and the brother said that I can't be African. And I said, why? He said, because I don't know what tribe I came from.
Nah, that's bullshit.
No, wait, time out. This is his argument. This is not my argument. You understand? So now I'm looking at the brother, and I say, listen, you think exactly like a European. You understand? I said, because if you're trying to narrow me to a small band of people, right, who identified because of a certain cultural practice that they had, when what I see is almost the entire continent looks just like I look, right? And the reason we have different cultures is because we spread out and spread around, right? I don't see different people, but they do. You understand? So now
who knows better?
It's not.
Who would you say knows better?
It's not
you or an African.
Now, see, I know better.
Nah, that's not. I agree with Larry on that.
I know better.
No, but hold on.
I know better.
Hold on a second.
I agree with Larry on this one.
I know better.
You know why you agree with Larry?
Why?
Because you the lost sheep in America.
No.
And you hold on. Wait a minute. And my man Tahuti said earlier that the child's basic necessity is the need to belong. So, in your needing to belong somewhere, you lump all nations of Africa, all people of Africa into one homogenous group. Whereas the African, he don't see it that way. I've never been to Africa. I've spoken to people from Africa, and they say that you go to Africa, somebody will look at you and say, you from this tribe. Your ancestors is from this tribe. They'll look at you and they say your ancestors is from that tribe. Just by your basic facial features and shit like that. So, the African, he differentiates. He don't look at everybody, because when you talk to these brothers in the street, they say, are you African? For our dumb ass, they'll say, yeah, we African. But you will not hear another African ask another African, is he African? He'll ask him, are you from Mali? Where are you from? Right. And he'll tell you what country he's from.
So now, hold it. Because now, this makes the argument in what the Moors are saying correct.
That what?
That black, nigger, or colored is labels that were labeled on us by Europeans.
Absolutely. That's absolutely true.
The argument is this. Because all Africans that are in this country didn't come over here by way of slave ships.
Absolutely.
Because my dad even told me that he believed that his father was one of the free Africans that was in this country.
Yo, Ivan Van Sertima told us that the Africans came here before the Europeans. Different, but they was killing and capturing niggas. Look at it now.
All right, hold on. Disagreeable. Go ahead, man.
First of all, it wasn't killing
and capturing
niggas because...
I thought that was in your name.
First of all, they wasn't killing and capturing niggas because... I
didn't say niggas.
Sure you did. Because they weren't any, right? Now, this is going to be disagreeable. This is going to be controversial, right? But as much camaraderie as I feel with you brothers, I think sometimes y'all be like on the moon with this reality, right? How do you come to the conclusion that, first of all, we didn't know war when we was launching war against each other, right? How do you think that in I don't know, 100 BC, we was fighting wars all up in Asia, in Anatolia, and then in the 1800s,
they did control of Spain.
In the 1800s, we didn't know war. Shaka Zulu is reported to have said to his people that when he's gone, the white man gonna get you.
Well, by that time, sure, we have been well acquainted with white
No,
folks.
what I'm saying to you, Tahuti, is they were on the continent during Shaka Zulu's rise. When Shaka was marching on black people and killing black people because they purportedly gave him a hard time growing up because his mother was like one of the wives and all of this, so they felt disrespected. When he grew up and handed that stuff back to them, there were white people in the Cape.
But Brother Larry, back at the time of ancient Kemet, when black people were reverencing that womb that Brother Tahuti is talking about, where was the war then?
Oh, they was fighting the Nubians. The Egyptians was fighting the Nubians. That's
aftermath.
The war was
because the Nubians were their ancestors.
The war
and the Nubians are the ones that built up Egypt.
That's right.
But your man Wesley Muhammad showed
that's the aftermath
of.
But no, I'm talking.
Yeah, but guess what?
Kemites enslaving the Nubians.
No, but that ain't even true. What Wesley Muhammad did was slandered them because actually they were prisoners of war. They didn't enslave anyone because Kemites didn't have the slave system. Slaves did not build pyramids. You was drafted the same way.
Nobody said slaves build pyramids. I'm not even going there.
What about?
But listen. That's the same rhetoric you can use with the African coming in. You can say, no, it was no slave, it was prisoners. Well, shit.
What about the Assyrians? What about the Persians? What about the Greeks? What about these individuals, the Hittites? What about Hatti? Hatti was the Hittite capital. What about the wars we fought with these people? Right? We knew war. What about Ramesses II bragging about all these enemies he's slain in war in Kadesh? What about these wars, brother? We fought wars. We knew wars.
What's your point, brother?
My point is that we were not unaccustomed to battle strategy. When you look at ancient Kemet and you see war chariots, when you look at ancient Kemet and you see large weapons and boats and stuff, they didn't just make these things up out the air. They had a use in the time when they were made. Okay? When you look, one of the most prevalent symbols that come from the ancient times in ancient Kemet would be Asar or Osiris. That's the constellation that the Greeks identify as Orion, the giant hunter. When you look at the layout of Kemet, you look up into the Orion constellation, you look at Sirius, you look at the Dog Star, you see Kemet in the sky. The same way they laid out Washington, D.C. They did the same thing. When you look at it, they just using reflections. So now, in understanding that, these war reflections that we see coming down to us, these people had a long-standing understanding of what it was to engage in military conflict. You understand? So now when these invaders came, remember, for some reason, we talk about Africa like Africa's Manhattan. You understand? And if something's going on in the Bowery, we're going to know about it up in Harlem. Now, Africa's a really, 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 really big place. So you had Europeans there, and the people who were there had no idea they were there. You understand? By the time that Shaka Zulu encountered those Europeans, there was a lot of Europeans. They had a city.
Hannibal fought Europeans BC.
Yeah, but that's off the top. That's in a different direction.
But I'm saying though,
I agree.
You know, Spain ain't but what, 90 miles, 100 miles.
Listen, but not just Hannibal, not just his father.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the history of war with the Europeans goes way back.
But not Europeans, Romans. They weren't no Europeans when Hannibal was